Morning.
Cool.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, welcome everybody. We're going to talk about OpCity today
There we are.
and how to convert OpCity leads. Okay. So first, some bookkeeping stuff on OpCity. So every time you close an OpCity lead, you must submit a referral form, which was emailed to you when you accepted the lead from OpCity. You need to, it may come from realtor.com, but so double check between the two to make sure you have a copy of the referral agreement. Upload that referral agreement into Command, correct? So Heather knows it's there. Is that the right process
Yes,
on
because
that?
she's looking at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And also, when you're doing the commission, you need to put it in that it's a referral
Yes,
in the commission section.
that's what I guess.
And that document that you have should have the tax ID number on it,
Mhm.
because that's required when you add a referral in your commission section.
Yeah. So you guys understand that? Make sure everybody online understands that. That's imperative because if we don't pay OpCity, we don't get leads. So
Yeah, and your
So-
score goes down.
and your score is going to go way down, right? And we want to make this a smooth transaction as easy as possible. The other thing that you must do is upon closing, you need to send an email to docs@opcity.com, and you're going to send them probably the closing statement, and you need to send them a copy of the agent full listing showing the commission amount, because they want to make sure that they're getting their full cut.
Yeah.
So they want to see the they want to know what the sales price is, and they're going to get that from, so if it's not showing it's sold yet, you need to go back and you need to get in touch with the listing agent and tell them, hey, can you please change this to sold so it shows the sales price and the commission amount.
And then the settlement statement from the
Mhm.
title will
Right.
show what the sales price is too.
Yeah, right.
And RMLS will show
Yeah.
what the commission amount
Yeah.
was.
If-
After you close.
After
Yeah.
you close.
And if for some reason the commission amount is different than what's advertised, like let's say you had to kick in some commission to get the deal done, or let's say there were some credits and you decided that you weren't going to take a commission on the credits, then the seller paid concessions credits, then you will have to get a letter from escrow saying what the commission amount was.
Would the broker demand qualify for that? Because if you
No.
type it out in there?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I know they want something from a third party, not that you
not
generated.
from you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's super important because otherwise we have these things that are not closed out. They're dangling. They say we owe money. And we have a handful of these that we're still trying to clean up. So we need to make sure this is super important. We have to do the process. So by agreeing to be part of OpCity, you've agreed to do all this stuff. And if you're not doing it, then we're in trouble. Okay.
And not only you, but we, the market center is in trouble.
Yeah, right. And you guys when you signed your OpCity agreement, you agreed to pay.
So we have a few people on here that one on and one in person that are not on OpCity.
Okay, yeah, so you haven't done this yet. Those of you who are not on OpCity probably don't know what I'm talking about. You didn't come here to hear this, so we'll jump back
No,
into
but it's
that.
good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's good.
But when you get it OpCity, you'll have to sign an agreement with the company saying that you're gonna pay it if you're with us or not. So if you leave and think you're gonna take that lead with you and not pay the referral fee, you're mistaken.
Because it's a referral fee on that contact for
Mhm.
2 years.
Right,
If they buy multiple properties, you're paying that referral fee on that
on multiple
contact
properties, yeah.
for 2 years.
Mhm.
If they refer somebody else to you, you don't pay on that one. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with, a lot of times people think about leads that are given to them. If it's from, if you're buying leads online, or if you are receiving, let's say you're receiving some relocation business, or in this case, OpCity, and you're like, I don't want to pay that referral fee. Why would I pay that referral fee? They're not doing any work. What's the point of it? Why would I want to give someone 35% of my commission? That makes no sense to me. And this is where you're wrong. So the first thing I learned in real estate is that business begets business,
That's right.
So if you want to have a really, really strong real estate business, you're going to hope to get referrals one day, right? And you can't get referrals unless you help agents. Help buyers and sellers. You need clients to get referrals because you want them to refer you eventually, right? So every time you get the opportunity to help somebody, you get the opportunity for them to refer you to somebody else. And that is the lifeblood of business right there. That's the best thing that can happen. That is free advertising that's going on because you did a good job and somebody liked you and they referred you. So look at this as a way to get paid, not as much as you would have got paid anyways, but more than you would have got paid because you wouldn't have met that person and they get to refer you to somebody else down the line. You're gonna make money on that and maybe make money off this person when they decide to move again, right? So,
Right.
so all this is super important to how you build your business.
Plus, I like to also think of it, OpCity, you get a phone call and you're handed over the client. So they're actually your ISA.
Sorry, I've had to drop off.
Yeah, I know. You're the ISA, or they're your ISA, right? So instead of you paying someone to call all the leads that you're generating in however Facebook ads or whatever you're doing, you now have OpCity doing that for you. And you don't have, I mean, you're just paying a referral if it closes, right? So I think of it that way as well. I always like to share my story on my first referral fee. When I became an agent, it was 35%, and I threw a fit. And I'm like, why would I pay 35%? This was quite a few years ago, and it was generally around that 25 that you paid. And my broker, he said, why not? And just take it. He was always very laid back, right? Just take it, just do it. It's no big deal. So I and I did it. I treated him like any other person that I would treat. And they ended up being my best clients. They bought, number one, they bought the highest price home I sold. And then it was a referral for Fish and Wildlife Services, right? And then that was also my broker's like, well, you could get more of them, right? I'm like, but then I have to pay 35. So what happened though, is because they were here, my client that I did a fantastic job with, they ended up, any new people that came in, which actually ended up being 2 more families, they just referred directly to me instead of through Fish and Wildlife. So I didn't have to pay that 35 referral fee again. And then these buyers, they bought another house from me, a rental property. And then I also did a referral on them because the husband had to go down to Bozeman to go back to school for some classes, and they needed a condo. So multiple transactions, still really great friends with them to this day over a commission that I bitched about. I mean, let's be honest, right? So like Kelly said, it's a client, and look how many other transactions I got off of it. Plus one of the families that came in to work at the same Fish and Wildlife, the property they were looking for, I was doing a listing appointment and it was exactly what they wanted. So I got the listing and sold it to these people. So many transactions off of one referral fee, right? So it's always long-term, not just on referrals, but on any client that you have, right? Always think long picture, treat them the best way that you would want to be treated. And you can hopefully get lots of organic business from it, because then you don't have to work as hard, right? Any questions about referrals on the fees or anything like that with us? And online, if you could just unmute yourself so I don't have to run over and grab the Slack or the chat, because if I move the screen, it glitches.
Did you use an acronym a little while ago, ISA?
Yes, ISA is an internal sales agent. So
Okay.
any that you have, that call in, or they're calling whatever you have. And OSA is an outbound sales agent, and they're looking for leads, and they're trying to, they're like dialing, they're just getting lists, and then they're calling the people on it. Versus ISA is you have leads coming in and it's someone calling them. Yeah. I don't know.
Thank you.
It'd just be a KW thing, I'm not sure, but we have lots of acronyms. Okay, so is it just Stephanie and Tyler that don't have OpCity? Oh, you don't yet either. Have you signed a form?
No.
No. Okay, so do you want to do it or no?
Yeah,
You
I
do.
do, but I wanted to do this again.
Yeah, Corinne and Kelly are the only ones that have the access to it. So when you're ready to get into it, and you need to be ready to get into it, then you'll go to Kelly or Corinne and ask to be added to it. They'll have you sign the form. So OpCity there's an app, and you'll get a notification that there's a new lead coming in, and you want to accept every single one that comes in. If you don't accept, that actually will bring your score, or try to accept, that'll bring your score down. So obviously we're not all on 24/7, right? So anytime that you're not available to hit, yes, I want it, you want to pause it. And you can pause it up to, I believe it was 30 days. Maybe it was 90 days at a time. We'll have to get clarification on that. So you can pause it for so long, and you can do that multiple times, right? So obviously, hopefully you won't do it for that long, but if you're going on vacation, what if you're going to show some clients that day? Pause it, right? Like if you can't answer the phone, if you can't click on it and answer the phone because you're busy doing something else, just pause it. Some of the things that we've learned from Bradley and Melanie, who I believe are our top, they've gotten the most leads from it and have had closings. They say, Melanie told me she leaves her phone. You know how your phone goes to sleep on you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it do that. So if you're going to be on to get leads, go into your settings and turn that off so that your phone stays on. And she said that she also leaves that app open because any delay in second to swipe and then click is a delay and you could lose it. So I went to happy hour with her once and she had her phone sitting right there and she's like, because I mean, that's how fast, which is why she's getting them, right?
Yeah.
But you still have to try to accept it so that your score doesn't come down. And then it transfers you over live to a client.
When you pause, or if you, let's say you don't pause it on accident, will that bring your score down?
It could, yes. We've had people who forgot to pause it
Yeah.
or didn't get to it right away. Yeah, it's brought them down some points.
Okay.
Yeah, Tanya,
yeah.
I can speak to that too. Definitely, it hurts you. Dropped my score by like 30 points. So
Whoa.
make sure to snooze. You can snooze from 1 hour up to 30 days at a time.
Up to 30 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, right? The max points is 120. She dropped 30.
Did Ashley just say you could snooze from 1 hour to 30 days? I missed the first part.
Yes, 1 hour.
Yes.
And there's increments in between, but that's the minimum and maximum.
Okay,
and
good.
If you sit for an hour, can you go back in and turn it on in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you can. If you change your mind, you could totally turn it back on at any time.
There you go. Yeah, so that's important, right?
That's like maybe the most important aspect of keeping your score high is to turn it off when you can't answer. It's like the single most important thing, right?
Right. Oh, and here's the other thing. Sherry Baker is Sherry, you're not on here. I think she's down in Canby area. She's out in the woods, right? She says her internet service sometimes works great, sometimes it doesn't. She has problems. She'll go to get on, and I'm guessing it's like when the internet comes back on and she missed a lead, but it never notified her, right? It's because that lack of service, maybe it's the cell service, not the internet, right? So make sure if you're going to be in an area where you don't have good service, you might want to pause it, right?
Is only on phone, or is it also on computer?
The app,
Be for phone because because it rings your phone.
yeah, it calls you right in.
Yeah.
That's why I call it an ISA, right?
Right.
So they're calling someone and then they're getting them right live to you.
Okay.
It's fantastic. You don't have to do all the calling. Okay, so app on, pausing when you're not using it, and then, okay, you get one.
Okay, you get one.
Kelly, what would you do?
Yep. So on the other, someone calls you up, you're on the phone, they do a live transfer over to you. So somebody off city will probably tell you what the situation is to some degree, or at least I haven't been on the other end of this call, so I'm making a lot of supposings here. But they're going to transfer the call to you, and you're going to have a live buyer on the phone with you. Your goal is to set the appointment. Nothing more than that. You don't need to do anything beyond set the appointment. You don't know if they're pre-qualified. You don't want to find out what they're looking for necessarily. You just got to get in front of them. So don't make it hard.
Don't trust the information that they provide.
Yeah.
They say they're looking for 70,000. That may be their down. Right. They might.
Yeah. And what I guess what I'm saying is, so if they want to see a house and you can show them that house, and you can show them anything, as long as it's not a manufactured home, and some of those come through. If they're manufactured homes, you need to return it because we can't do those
Unless it's on.
unless it's on real property. So if it's in a park,
No.
on rented land, then we can't sell it.
No.
Your goal should be just to get in front of them. So don't try to pre-qualify them. Don't ask them what they're looking for. Just say, okay, what time would you like to see this house? Great. I'm going to make a phone call right now and get in contact with the seller because they may think that you are the listing agent.
Mhm.
Let's not deceive them, but we don't need to tell them we don't have to give them the whole story
Right.
until we show up. Okay, until we meet them. So tell them you need to get in contact with you need to find out if that seller works, if that appointment time works with the seller, and I will get right back to you. And if it's possible to do it while you're on the phone with them, if it's like on showing time, if the listing's on showing time, keep them on the phone, just say, hold on one second, let me just see if that time works. You can mute them, put them on pause, just chit chat with them, whatever it is, try to see if that appointment time works. If you don't have to call them back, you're gonna increase your ability to get that appointment probably by, 25, 50, 40%. So
What if it's pending?
if it's pending, then you need to get into it. Like, I'm sorry, this one's pending sale. I don't think I would try to show it. I don't.
No, but you could be like, but there's another one right by it. Like,
Yeah, then you should be like, hey, then you should do a quick search, find out what they're looking for. That's when you then you're gonna try to do a little bit more work. You'd be like, okay, so what are you looking for? That one's pending sale. Tell me what else you're looking for. Let me see real quick if there's something else available. Get into RMLS, do a quick search
Yeah.
with them on the phone. Don't get off the phone. You can keep them on the phone. That's better for you.
What you could do as a clicker while you're on the phone, when you're searching for that listing, copy the address, go quick to map search, plug that address in, and it'll show you what's available around it so that you already, instead of, hey, what else are you looking for? Right, you've got an idea of the price, you got the area that they want, and then so you can go, but there's another one, and just find something that's close. I mean, they all pop up on there. So,
Yeah, try to find something that's like it, the same price point.
and instead of saying, well,
Yeah.
because then that could be a quick, oh no, that's okay, thanks. And
Totally.
they can hang up.
Because you're gonna do that anyways, because as soon as you get off the phone with them, you wanna figure out what's my next play. You can't be just like showing up and hoping they're gonna buy this house.
Right.
That's foolish. You need to come and bring some value with you to the appointment. So you're gonna wanna have other houses available that you wanna show them, that you have an idea about. And depending on how far out the appointment is, maybe you drive by them. Maybe you preview them if you can get in to see it. Like, do some legwork for this person. Start treating them like they're your buyer already,
Right.
and provide some value to them. So when you show up, they're like, oh wait, this guy's really prepared. This gal's really prepared. She really knows the market. She really wants to help me out.
Yeah.
How helpful are they? Oh my gosh, I want to work with this person.
Because most of the time, if they call somebody, they're like, oh, no, it's not available. Okay, thanks. They don't try, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents that don't try.
Right. But a lot of agents just won't return their calls, right? This is the big problem with lead gen, is that lead gen works. Zillow leads, OpCity leads, Boomtown leads, they all work if you guys return phone calls quickly.
Yep.
That's the key.
Fast.
You have to strike while they're on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So number one priority, get in front of them, meet them,
Yeah.
show them your value. Then two, show them value. Okay. And show them value means don't just come knowing about that house, know about other homes around it. When I say know about that house, and Dwight was in here one time, he did it, he said something, and I've done this too. When I have a showing, I always try to show up early to the showing. I want to be there before I would never want my client waiting for me to show up. I think that's unprofessional, right? Beat them there. You want to be waiting for them. And then if you can get inside the house beforehand, walk around it, try to find some cool things out about it. Walk the property outside, get to know the property. You get there early, drive around so you know, okay, hey, well, they have a neighborhood pool, or there's a great park around the corner, or there's a walking trail, or the bus stop, or bike paths, whatever it is. Get there early so you have an opportunity, so you know more about the property than they do. Because they may not think they need you if you're just sitting there.
If you just
well,
open up the door, let them go in the house and see it.
Yeah, you're more than a
And that's
lockbox
what
key.
everybody thinks a realtor is.
Yeah, you're much more than a lockbox key. So
Yeah.
So use the information at your disposal, come prepared with lots and lots of information. And then show them the property, build some value with them. Don't try to sell them the house. I've never been one.
Houses will sell houses.
Houses sell themselves. Don't try to close on them right there. Like they'll be like, hey, do you want to buy this house? They don't even know you yet. And you're asking them a really personal question, like, hey, do you want to spend $400,000 on a house? No, stranger, I don't know you, right? So that's gonna be interesting. So you're gonna have to build their trust along the way. And that's by being courteous, it's by being respectful, and that's by providing value.
Yeah, so when you do, walking through the house, instead of saying, oh, look at this great
Mhm.
master bedroom,
Mhm.
instead it'd be like, so what exactly are you looking for? Like,
Mhm.
what really means the most to
Mhm.
you in your home?
Mhm.
And then, mentally, or write it down while you're walking around with them, while they're looking
Mhm.
at it, you can start asking all those buyer questions that you want to know. And then you can start talking about
Mhm.
financing.
Yeah. If I'm working with a buyer, then if it's somebody I know or don't know, but I kind of have an idea of what the parameters are that they're looking for, I can actually learn more stuff about the houses they don't buy and what they don't like than
Mhm.
what they do. Because they'll kind of tell you what they'll like, or at least they kind of think they know what they like. They won't tell you what they don't like necessarily. And so when you're walking around and you're listening and they're like, frowning at things, or they're unhappy about something, or they point something out that you don't like, make a note of that. So you maybe either in your head or actually make a physical note, pay attention, because they're telling you what they're looking for by what they don't like.
Yeah.
So I always pay attention. I always learn more from the houses they don't buy than the ones they do buy.
Right.
And then the other thing would be, if you're showing the property, you're walking around and you hear things like, they start moving into their head, like they start putting furniture in places, or they say, this would be a great room for such and such, or we could do this in here. Like those are what I call buying signs. So you want to be really keen on those, right?
Yeah.
Because, if you start hearing those buying signs, you may want to be just a tad more aggressive in pushing them in the right direction. And maybe you're not asking if they want to buy this one. Just be like, you start hearing them talk about how much they like a specific thing. You might want to start talking about lenders and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're getting closer to, in their mind, they're living in the house in their mind a little bit, right?
Right.
They're imagining themselves in the house. Oh gosh, we could paint that wall, or we could blow out this wall, we could combine this room and this room, we could put a second floor, or whatever it is. They can start talking about things, and that give you some signs that they're really interested in that property.
Triggers.
Yeah. Triggers.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, what about OpCity?
I think we went over this OpCity stuff.
I know, yeah. Do you guys have any questions about OpCity?
Yes, I do. So-
Okay. You're muted.
I'm sorry. So most of the time, if we're not doing showings based on this kind of referral, we're going to have more knowledge of the prospective client before we do the showing. So my question is about personal safety. It seems this kind of showing seems more open to problems.
Actually, I have to say that majority of your showings could be open. What if you have a listing and someone calls you on the sign? It's the same thing like an OpCity lead.
Yes, I wasn't limiting to OpCity. So I guess the question is, if you have more limited information, what safety concerns should you keep in the front of your mind other than what you normally do?
I think if you're ever meeting somebody at a home and you don't know them, anybody, like I just think, especially if you don't know them though, right?
Yeah, number one, if you want to have someone go with you, have someone come with you, even if they stay in the car, or if you want to have another agent come with you and you both go together. I mean, that's the great thing about the new agent program, NKW. You guys get to know each other and you can find out who's in what area and see, hey, I'm showing this house. Would you mind meeting me there? Or
Yeah.
So that would be number one, and letting people know where you are going. Give them the address and let them know, I'm going to go show this house. I'm going to be there at this time. It shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. I'll text you when I'm done or during it, and plus you have the emergency on your Century lock, right? When you open up a door, if you enter in an emergency number in there, it asks you yes or no, right? To notify if you're comfortable or not comfortable, right?
It's something you can turn on and off on your Century Lock app, where if you, once you open a lockbox, there's a period of time for which you have to say you're secure or not secure. And if you don't answer on your phone, and that's not like it's gonna call you, but if you don't respond to the notice on your phone, then it will call whoever it is you set your emergency contact you've set up in there. so that they will know that to reach out to you or that you may be in some sort of issue. The other thing to do, I've heard, was that some people have a colleague or a loved one call them, you know, like a few minutes into the showing, and they can say, you know, have a code word or something set up. You know, you have to figure out what your safety, what your comfort level is, and what your risk tolerance is to meeting people you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
And then when you're at the home, so number one, never turn your back on the people ever. Make sure that you're letting them go into the rooms, into the house before you. Same thing when you're leaving, make them leave the home first. Don't walk out. Wait until they get to the car before you turn your back to put it in the lockbox if it's on the front door, or do it like sideways so you're still looking and talking to them as you do it, right? So that's huge.
And try to do it with grace. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because you want to be safe. You need to be safe, obviously. But like if you're feeling like you can't do it gracefully and you never feel comfortable in these scenarios, then I think you should not put yourself in the scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if it's one person or two people, doesn't matter, right? You never know the situation. So yeah, just, I mean, regardless of who you're showing, where you're meeting them, you still need to watch your safety. It could be someone that you show multiple times and they could still end up being.
You could
you
show up
just never
early.
know, right?
You could show up early to show the house, and somebody else. And it could be you meeting clients you know, and somebody else could show up and see that you're accessing the property and want to get involved in it. So always be vigilant, always be aware, and then trust your gut.
There are some jewelry out there, great for guys, necklaces, bracelets that are secure. It's like a realtor notification thing. It looks like regular jewelry that you can utilize, where you just kind of touch it and then it notifies through the system. I've seen those online before. It was big quite a few years ago, because it's been in a long time, right? You could do all kinds of protocols, right? It was big. One of my coworkers' friends was attacked in her home, in a home she was showing, and so we transitioned to where we made it where you had to meet at the office, and we got a photocopy of the driver's license, and then they went out to show. But it was a smaller town and different, different times and different aspects. But it's up to you guys on how you actually want to meet your clients.
There's lots
and
of
what
safety.
you want to do.
I have a daughter in college, and so we kind of went through this in her freshman year about how to be safe walking across campus. You could get, they have really high powered like horns, whistles. They're small. Mace, Mace is a little sketchy, because if it gets them, it might get you too. So you don't want to disable yourself. But I think that sound thing is pretty good. I think that really stuns people.
Right, it scares people off.
Yeah.
Josh gave me a flashlight with a taser on it. My
Yeah.
husband won't let me try it on him.
Yeah. It's probably a
Can
good.
I try it
idea.
on you?
No.
Okay.
So no. So take precautions.
Right.
That's it, yeah.
Concealed carry if you want to, right?
Just don't want to shoot a client.
Well,
Don't shoot your clients.
well.
Okay, so let's get kind of dig deep, a little bit deeper into how to provide value. This goes for everybody, right? This isn't just somebody you just met. This is how you provide value to all your clients. And so, like, I preach this, we just said it, don't be a doorman, doorwoman. Like, you're more than your lockbox key. So you need to study. We have all these classes set up for you to ask us questions and us to give you information that's going to make you a better realtor. It's going to help you serve your clients better. And so I think knowing these things is going to make it much easier for you to prove your value and show your worth. Like when I go, like for listing appointments, for example, when I go into a listing appointment, sure, I know my comps, I know my data, but like I'm really prepared to answer just about any question that comes to me. Part of it's through experience, part of it's from diligence, from like spending the time to getting to know the purchase agreement and understanding how a real estate transaction goes. So when they ask you a question, you're not giving some sort of canned response, or you're not having to, we talk a little bit about doing scripting or question and answers, whatever. If you know the answers to these questions, they're going to come off, and you're going to you're gonna seem much more, you're gonna seem really polished and much more knowledgeable. You're gonna seem like a professional. And then two, like talk less than they do. But when you do talk, ask them questions. I mean, if they answer you, ask you a question, obviously they answer it, but ask them questions. Like be generally concerned about what it is they need. That's gonna be a connection they're
And
gonna
get to
make.
know them.
Yeah, a lot of people, like they're gonna assume that if they don't have a realtor already, they're going to assume that you're a salesperson. You're not a salesperson. We are business people, okay?
Yeah.
So show up and be a business person, all right? So provide value by giving them answers to their questions, and then ask them questions that are gonna help you help them. Like, and I think that's like the backbone of what we do. It's just know what you're doing and help people, you know, and that's it. Like that really, if you do that, you'll be successful in this.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Don't stay home. Like talk about it, right? Get out and find people. But
if you don't know the answer, it's all in how you reply to it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, that's a great question.
that is a great question.
That's a great question. Let me find out.
And I'll get right back to
You
you.
call me,
Or
and I
even
probably have an
like,
answer for you.
do it right there, right?
Yeah, or
Text
Google
Tanya,
it.
text it.
Yeah.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Google,
Yeah.
whatever it is, do it while you're on there. Hang on, I'll find out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Just make it.
Yeah.
Like,
Do some research,
yeah.
and then do some research about the property before you go. Like,
Yeah.
Portland Maps is a great if it's in the Portland metropolitan area, Portland Maps will give you a lot of, like, you can dig into like permit history on there and see if there's any open permits. Like, can you imagine showing up to a property and I do this, if I show up and they don't like the property, while I'm showing around, I can tell they don't like it. I'll find even more reasons for them not to like it, because I want to show them that I'm not just trying to sell them this house. I'm trying to help them. So I'll be like, ooh, I wouldn't. You see that over there? You see the dry rot around that window? That's not good. Like, I don't know if I like this one. If it were me, I probably would not. I'd probably run away from this house as quickly as I can. Like, you can build a lot of value because they'll trust you, because you're not trying to just sell them on this one house. You can show them you're really trying to help them. But like, can you imagine showing up and saying, you can tell they don't like the house? Like, well, I know I did a search before I got here. There's some open permits on this property. It looks like somebody started to do some work but didn't complete it. That always makes me a little nervous. So you're looking out for them. You've already helped them out. You've already helped them avoid the pitfall of buying this house.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You gotta take another call.
I gotta check this. We got this deal.
This is what we do. Okay, so what should we go into next?
Does
Do you-
OpCity have a practice? Like, I'm a little nervous to like, just go live.
Just go, no practice.
Screenshot.
Just go in live.
Practice.
Actually, Tracy, the best way to try to do practice, go talk to one of the agents in the office that are here all the time, Bradley and Melanie.
Yeah.
And ask them. Melanie's usually here later in the days. Bradley's kind of hit or miss when he's here, but he's in that very front out there. And Melanie's back over here down this hall from Heather. They'll show you. Ashley, you've got it. If Ashley's in the office, you can ask Ashley. Who else has it? You know who has it. I don't know who else.
Yeah, I mean,
Megan.
a ton of people have it. Megan, I would do this, is I would find an agent around the office that you're comfortable with in OpCity, not in OpCity, and ask them if you would mind the next time they show a house and you could shadow them
Yeah.
and see how they prepare for it.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Chris Burley, when she gets back in town. Chris
Shadowing
is great.
is great.
Chris is awesome. Chris has been doing this for a long time. She works with Drew, with
Drew.
My mind's on this deal with Dwight. And so Dwight trained her up really well. And she's really thorough. She really knows her stuff. So she would be a great person to see, to shadow. But I think any of our agents that are out here showing property, just ask them if you could shadow them while you show a house. Say, hey, I'll just meet you there. I'll show, and it's actually great for them because it like, if I'm showing a client a house and I've got, hey, by the way, this is such and such, she's shadowing me today to learn a few things about the industry they're new. That gives me a lot of credibility because my company has got somebody who thinks I'm good at this and wants me to show it to other people. So it's great for everybody.
What does shadowing mean? Like,
Oh,
what
shadowing
can
means
you do if I'm shadowing you?
You're just, that's about it. Listen, zip your mouth and listen.
And then after,
After,
if the clients are gone, can I ask?
yeah, then you can ask questions after that, but just stay out of the way. Just keep your mouth shut and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe,
You're a shadow.
yeah, if the agent wants you to do something, get involved somehow, then they've invited you to say something or get involved, that's one thing. But if you're just if you just ask to shadow and they don't give you permission to talk or do anything, then just shut up and just listen.
You're there to
You're,
learn.
you're there to learn. You're not there to add
Yeah.
anything but to learn. So
Yeah.
you don't want to step on anybody's toes.
No, and remember too, this is something that really stands out to me about Keller Williams. I came from Remax, and we were one happy family as a brokerage, right? But when it came to business, it was doors shut. You didn't get to ask questions from anybody else in the brokerage, even though we partied together, had Christmas parties together, and could laugh and joke around the office. It was all personal, but when it came to business, it was doors shut. No one helped anybody else on anything. All you had was your broker, right? And so to be able to come to a place where doors are open, they're sharing their PowerPoints, they're sharing their CMAs, they'll give you copies of whatever they use to help get them business. And technically, we're all competitors with each other, right? When it comes to business, but Keller Williams believes in the model that we are all here together, and helping each other helps everybody, right? And so that's the beauty of KW.
Yeah,
And
it's a culture of collaboration,
yeah,
and it started, whenever Gary started in Austin, and the company's done a really great job of trickling that down through everybody. So and with collaboration comes learning. We're all better when we collaborate, I think. So
right, because if you're out there doing bad things as a real estate agent, it reflects on our entire market center and every single agent in the office. So obviously we don't want that to happen, right? And we won't let it happen, actually. But so that's also where all the helpfulness and being able to just go to anybody and ask. You can go to Peter any time of the day and ask him, if I have a listing coming up, can you help me prepare for it? He'll do it. If he has time, he will do it, right? And I love that about the agents in our office.
sure.
So they all love to help.
Yeah.
And the agents that come from other offices, they love that we have that. And they're like, oh my gosh, and they want to help you guys, like Rochelle, right?
yeah,
So,
what you give.
Just-
What's your question?
So Tanya,
yeah.
So I never knew that about Peter, and I've thought sometimes about approaching him for something, but I really didn't think it was appropriate. So so that's really, I already know and agree with how much sharing and support there is and collaboration, but I wouldn't have approached Peter to ask him that. So it's something I'm really glad to know about.
What, can I ask why you wouldn't have? I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, just because he's so busy and he's, successful and, not at my level, and it's not his job. And I don't know, all that stuff. I wouldn't want to impose.
But he's also an owner.
Yeah.
I know
Right?
that.
So,
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
vested. in
he kind
your
of
success.
wants everybody to succeed.
Yeah, he's vested in your success. But we all are.
But regardless,
Right.
if he wasn't an owner,
The profit
he
share,
would.
the profit share program adds to this too,
Yes.
Okay, so what other kind of questions do we have relating to?
OpCity.
It doesn't have to be just OpCity. It could be anything, but if it's on topic, great. Off topic, fine too. What else do we have? Anybody?
I do have,
Yeah, go ahead.
I do have an OpCity question. It's hard to know when you're interrupting somebody. And this is specifically for me. So anyway, I hope that's okay. Because because I'm now living in Corvallis, I very much need to know if we have access to OpCity this far south.
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
it's in McMinnville though, isn't it?
Is it? It might be. I don't know. I'm not tracking the leads that close, but I know they're not in Corvallis. At least the last I heard, they weren't in Corvallis.
Oh, OpCity isn't in Corvallis yet.
Well, not for us.
At least not for us.
Right.
I don't understand how that works. So is OpCity countrywide?
So yeah, OpCity works through realtor.com, and then they have agreements with individual brokerages based upon their location and their territory. So
Yeah.
And that is not technically our territory.
exactly. So our agreement with them.
Do you want it to be part of your territory?
We can't. Technically, that territory belongs to the KW and
In my,
Corvallis.
I don't know.
Maybe, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I'll have to talk to,
We need to find out.
yeah.
I'm so. Um,
We have to find out.
okay, but as far as you know, at the moment, OpCity doesn't overlap between, well, it wouldn't be OpCity, it would
I think it
be.
goes, we're not going that
We
far
have
fast at the
to- I
moment.
think we have to specifically ask for, they look at our area that we're located, which is Portland, and they gave us that territory. So when we've had to ask for people who've wanted it in areas that are not technically Portland Metro.
Yeah, so we'll have to dig into that more, but I do know at the current time, it's not in our bag of tricks.
Can you tell us what the territory is besides Portland?
I
Our
can tell
territory?
you off the top of my head.
Yeah.
How
I
would
know
we
it goes
find
at least to Salem. I get a lot of Salem leads.
We have
It's not-
agents in Salem,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
We have agents that, it's kind of like where our agents are at, right?
yeah,
I do,
Well, it goes to Silverton because Danielle just had a listing that I showed for her
yeah.
in Silverton.
Well,
but I don't think that was,
That was
that was not an OpCity.
well, it could have started as an OpCity lead and now they're looking at Silverton. It could have been something she showed them in Woodburn and then ended up in Silverton. So, but like I said, we'll look into that. I'll talk to Crean and see what the boundaries are on that and what's limiting us from going that way and if we want to go that far.
And then you'll get back to us on it?
Yep,
Okay, great. Thank you.
yep. Tracy?
Can you set your own personal boundary, like?
I believe so.
I don't wanna go to Salem.
I believe
That's
so.
actually a question. I only seem to be able to do a circle, and I don't mind going 25 miles that way. I just don't necessarily want to go 25 miles.
I think it does limit you. on
Yeah.
it. So
A
if you do a circle, right, and it's taking you down where you don't want to go, but you're okay going this way, then change your points.
Starting point.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, that might work.
It's just a circle.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not,
I don't know if it's
we're
zip
not in
codes.
it.
And I don't know if it's zip codes
And it's, yeah.
or
it's-
cities or
Yeah, I
like
think
counties.
zip codes are.
Could be counties too. Usually these things are either done by county or zip code, and if it, or some sort of radius thing like that.
Yeah.
What if you like see one to come through? How much information do you have? Do you have enough to say, like, if you really know you don't want that one?
You really don't.
Then-
Just, and you don't want to not accept it, because that's gonna affect your score. So you accept every single one that you can try to accept when you're ready to do it. And then if it ends up being something that, like, we get manufactured homes, we can't, we tried, we can't get that shut off, right? Because you can sell a manufactured home if it is on permanent land, right? Permanently placed on land. But, so then all you do is you're like, I'm sorry, we can't help you with that. We're not, like, that's a specific license. We can't refer them to anybody,
We can't
right?
refer you.
So,
We have to do some.
and then you
return.
go in and you write your notes. You've got to put notes in on everything, and then you release it,
Mhm.
right? So if it's anything that you can't help it, or it's someone who, you know, thinks that they can buy a house for 150,000 and we know we can't here, right? So you just process them through, do as much as you can, make good notes on it, try to be as helpful as you can with them, connect them to a lender, right? So maybe they think that that's as much as they can do, but once they talk to a lender, maybe they can actually do more, right? So try to be as helpful as you can with them. But then if it's obvious that they're not going to be able to purchase, then you make the notes, right? Financially cannot purchase a home, and send it back.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
keep it and work with them until they can. Maybe it's just they need to pay some debt off or whatever it is, right? All leads can be good leads. Actually, all leads are great leads until it doesn't have a proper phone number or an email address, because then you can't talk to them. It's just a matter of where in their life. And if you treat them really, really well, they're still going to talk about you to somebody else that might be able to buy or sell.
If you release somebody and then at some point in the future, they come back to you, are we still connected to OpCity? with
Yes.
referrals?
Yeah,
That's
yes,
what I
for
figured.
2 years.
Yeah.
For 2 years, okay.
Yeah.
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 2 years, no matter what. And if they find out that you did it and you didn't pay, I think you can get kicked off of it. We can get in trouble
Well,
for
no,
it.
they're gonna make,
Right.
they're
We'll
gonna,
have to pay
we'll
it.
have to pay it. And then, and like I said, you'll sign an agreement that says that we paid you back.
Yeah.
In today's digital environment, you're not gonna escape.
Yeah, no, there's no way
Right?
getting away from it, right? Yeah.
So what happens to them if you release, are you releasing them like wire to somebody else, then like just somebody send it to another realtor?
They may.
Well, they
may
might,
do that.
but that's why you want to put really good notes in there, right?
Yeah.
They probably reach out to those leads, and they might put them on a drip campaign some other way. Or they
Yeah.
may next time they show interest in a property, then they may distribute that lead again.
And you know, that if it's a couple and they get the wrong answer, the
Yeah.
other party can go in and do it
Yeah.
and end up in the system again,
I think
right?
the only time I would release somebody would be if it was, they specifically wanted to get like a manufactured home.
Right,
That'd be like in a park.
yeah,
Otherwise, I think, convince them to buy a condo instead of
Right.
like, hey, you can't buy a house. It's too much. Like, you're
Right.
gonna have to buy a condo.
yeah, but even
What
though
are
sometimes
other
you can't.
people saying, and I apologize.
Mhm.
No, it's all right.
But, I, get the referral, talk to them, accept them, and I have yet to really meet anybody in person like the next day, because most of them have not spoken to a lender, so
Oh, you don't want to
Oh,
find
yeah,
that
don't
out.
qualify.
You're doing it
them.
wrong.
Yeah, don't
Uh-uh.
qualify them.
Meet them first,
Meet them first.
that's.
then qualify
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
because you want to get to
Yeah, and
know.
that's where I've been,
Because you're asking some stranger on the phone,
Oh,
like,
how much can you buy? Have you talked to a
well,
lender
no, and I
yet?
send them all the lender stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's
No.
get together and.
no,
No.
just show
No.
them the house. First rule, show them the house. They don't know you
Meet
from
them
Adam.
and create a relationship.
Yeah, they don't know you from anybody, so they want someone to show them a house,
That's all
show
they
them, show them
want.
the house,
Yeah.
and then you start building value.
Because they're just gonna go and find someone else in another way.
Yep.
Right?
So if
Yeah,
they're
for sure.
looking for a manufactured house, you can't refer them to anybody? You can't even say, oh, this is a
Not
company
through
that will-"
OpCity, we can't.
Because
You
obviously
can't
owns the lead.
refer anywhere,
Yeah, I did that.
even if they're,
Manufactured home, like, found somebody that could do manufacturing,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nope.
no, never mind,
and
sorry.
if they're looking for Washington and you're not licensed in Washington, you can't refer them there either.
Okay,
There's no referring OpCity leads out to someone else,
Period.
okay? Plus, then it would be 35% to OpCity, and then whatever your referral fee is, because you could end up with that agent that takes it would end
It's
up
a
with
mess.
way less.
Yeah.
And then you got referral and,
Mhm.
oh,
A lot of work.
And then the
but
thing,
it's
actually,
their rule.
the real
and you
problem is,
can't.
the real problem is they can't track, they might have a hard time
That's
tracking,
right.
tracking
Yeah.
the lead.
right,
'Cause
okay.
now they lost.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
What other questions do we have? It can be about anything.
Mine is, this is an older question, and I should have called them a long time ago, but, wasn't really doing much, I, had left my phone, anyways. It said that I had missed like two, opportunities expired, but then, like a day or two later, I hadn't had any updates, but now I'm up to 54 expired. I've never.
Are you turning the app off when you're unable to answer?
I'm trying to remember most,
So
well,
that's
no,
probably what's
I
happening.
mean, like, if I'm, busy for the day, I'm snoozing it for however long. But I'm like, there is no way I missed 54, so I'm kind of like, is that a glitch? What happened?
It could be in a bad
Because it went
cell
from
zone.
like 20 to
Yeah.
49 and.
You could have been in like a bad cell spot or something, I don't
But I'm
know.
like, I didn't get.
I would
Anyway,
contact, I would
should
try
just
to, I
give
would
them a
try to
call?
contact.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I
Yeah,
called them before, they're very, very nice.
Oh, cool.
but just
Yeah.
That's good.
haven't-
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
yeah.
But yeah, maybe that you were in a cell zone that was kind of funky.
Yeah, my home is a.
If you don't
Yeah.
have the 4G or 5G popped up, right,
Mhm.
to where you've got great service, then I wouldn't have it on.
Mhm.
I would wait until I had actual full service or turn it on to Wi-Fi so that it's you, if you have great Wi-Fi service, that it's using your Wi-Fi instead of the cell.
Some days I create my phone.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not. So the D.
He's a busy guy.
Well, sorry to be jumping in and out. We have a real time sensitive negotiation I got myself into, so.
Why
For
would
one of
you
our
do
clients.
that?
It's one of our new agents needs some help with something. She's doing a really good job.
That's
This is
why
kind of
it's
fun. We have a few minutes. Anybody have any other questions? Well, let me just share this little scenario with you guys because this is
Cool.
really fun. So, one of our agents has a pending sale. One of the terms of the agreement was that upon removal of the inspection period, they would release their $30,000 earnest money. We got the check, we got the check in our hand right now. Our sellers has that check in our hand. In the meantime, on Monday, we got notification that the appraisal came in $20,000 below the purchase price. The purchase price was at the list price. So,
Oh, wow.
right? 20,000 below that.
Overpriced.
Nope, no.
No?
'Cause- And I'll hold on for
All
a while.
right.
So they gave us notification on Monday. Who knows what section 5.2 says?
Oh, my gosh.
We all should. You guys have it. Like
He's
you-
the only one that has it memorized. I can't remember what I ate yesterday.
So the section 5.2 is a remedy for section 5.1, which talks about our financing contingencies. And in it says if the buyer gives actual notice that any of the mentioned contingencies in section 5.1 have failed, buyer and seller have blank spaces, usually it's 2 business days, to resolve it. And if not, then the deal automatically terminates. So Monday, they gave us notification. So Tuesday, first business day, Wednesday, second business day, the buyer was trying to have the appraisal, was trying to argue that the appraisal was wrong. So they were trying to put it through the review process, which could take like a week. So they had sent an extension over to us saying that they wanted to give us the 29th to figure it out. We never signed it. In the meantime, our agent, the cunning agent she is, got on the phone and started calling people who had shown the property before, who expressed interest, and say, hey, I think we got a sale fail. Are you interested? She got 2 offers, one at asking price, one above asking price, right? So that's how I know it's not overpriced, because we've got 3 offers, one above the list price. So anyways, so what we're doing is we're using that as leverage to get these other people to raise so get this, their appraisal came in $20,000 below. Instead of lowering our purchase price, we're raising our purchase price to meet these other offers and adjusting some of the other terms, so it's more favorable for the buyer, for our seller. So it was like we took lemons and we're making a big old pot, jug of
But the
lemonade.
appraisal still stays.
But the buyer has cash to bring to closing. Mhm. Cash is king, so they can bring more, so they're bringing not just 20, they're now bringing 25 extra to closing. It's probably a punch in the gut, but hey, that's our real estate market, that's the way it is. And they got a little cute, like they should have just told us, if they would have told us straight away, they could have said, hey, it came in short, will you cover it? No, okay, we'll bring in the extra cash. Or they could have said that last night, we would have had nothing to do. But since they waited until today, then gave us the opportunity to renegotiate.
But at any point, could you go back to the appraiser and say, we think you're wrong?
Well, that's what the buyer is going to do, but that doesn't usually happen overnight. And you go back to the appraiser and tell him he's wrong, but who reviews it? Who's the person gonna review it? The appraiser, who's probably right, who thinks he was right in the first place? Who thinks he's right in the first place? So it's not a great system. The appraiser is the only one in our entire transaction really has autonomy. He's the only person who doesn't have to answer the thing, right? Like we have to answer to our clients, the lenders have to answer to our clients, escrow has to answer to our clients. The appraiser, they don't need anybody to answer to. So they have a lot of autonomy. Anyways, so that's kind of a fun little story where we use the contract in terms to our benefit. So yeah.
I'm like,
So
trying
so
to.
right now we got clients that were really unhappy. Now they're super happy.
5.1.
5.1. So 5.1 is a contingency, and 5.2 is that number was 2. So it says they can either A, terminate this transaction by signing that, or B, reach other mutual agreements upon such price and terms that will permit this transaction to close. But this is where we had them. If A or B fail to occur within the time period identified, this transaction shall be automatically terminated. So it automatically terminated last night, and it gave us some
And they got
leverage we
to
did.
keep the earnest money.
They were gonna get the earnest money back because they didn't want to take the 30,000.
Why would it terminate if they can bring cash or?
They didn't say they could.
Oh, they didn't say it.
Yeah, they let it terminate. They could have said that at any point in time. They didn't reach such agreement. Neither button. So they didn't reach a written mutual agreement upon such price and terms that will permit this transaction to
And they
continue
didn't
In the
recommend
2
the,
business days.
in the 2 business
They
days.
just wanted an extension and you guys didn't
Yeah.
agree, so there's.
Yeah, we didn't get because why would we give an extension? We got other parties that want to buy it, who might give us better terms, which they did. So not only do we get $5,000 more for the house, we also got to stay in it longer. We bumped the closing date out a little bit, which made the sellers feel a little more comfortable. We also got them 15 days extra occupancy. So really great deal.
So it
really
worked out
great
for the
deal.
sellers,
Totally worked out for the sellers,
right?
but yeah, so.
And does the buyer get their earnest money back?
The buyer wouldn't, they wouldn't have, we could have kept
You
it.
could have.
We could have kept it, we weren't going to keep it because they didn't think that was good for me to do. They said they couldn't sleep at night if they did that.
That's a big amount.
It's a lot of money. And we could have, in the way it was written, it was kind of, it didn't say it was deemed non-refundable, it just said release to seller. So
Yeah.
they could have fought that.
They could have fought
probably,
that one, yeah.
And maybe won
If
that.
you want it non-refundable, you need to state non-refundable.
Yeah, if we were
To
trying
be
to,
released.
if we want to keep some of it, most likely we probably would agree some sort of,
Yeah,
we'll split it, or we'll take 10, you take 20, or whatever.
I'll take 20 and you can take 10.
Yeah. All right, well, why don't we got 3 minutes till we start up here again. Food should be here shortly, so why don't we just take a quick break?
Yeah.
And then welcome Justin when he shows up. Should be good class.
Yeah, hopefully. Huh,
Yeah,
no.
thank
It'll be
you.
good. It's mindset reset. Apparently I need a mindset reset. All right, you guys online, if you want to go take a break for 5 minutes or leave or stay, your option.
Good.
Austin, you can stop recording.
We're done now.
I bet he's not even in there.
Last night, so I wanted to general.
I'm good. How are you?
I tried to be her earlier, I took my mom and I like.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know, I don't care. That's right, just your little, just our part.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, how much are they?
I think they're capped at 5,000, is my understanding. Yeah, so it's like, I think it's equal to like one month's rent, no more than $5,000, but I'm not sure. Maybe this is where it's not, property management stuff is a lot higher rate than
I remember hearing about 1 month rent.
Yeah, I heard so much like this. But, did you ask about the,